Hi friends, welcome to my classroom. I want to share a quick story with you about how a little boy named Jay taught me not to take it personal as a teacher. So here's what happened. So I had a little boy a couple years ago who had just so much trauma in his life. I mean, it was rough. He had his sister and his mom and his dad. None of them were on the same page. There was turmoil at home in a lot of different directions. Use your imagination there, but it was a home of poverty, and it was really challenging. And because of that, there was a lot of anger in that household. Well, guess what? What do you think happened to little Jay? Jay brought that into my classroom every single day. That's how he responded to things. He would lash out, he would hit, he would scream, he would get big, and he'd get red-faced, right? And it was so difficult because I have my own anger issues from when I was a child that I had to work through. And so some of those things were triggering to me. And when he would have an outburst where another child might just say, no, I don't want to, he would go, no, and just scream at me, or no, and slap at me, or scream a vulgarity, a bad word at me, all right? I began to go, like I immediately felt myself reacting, right? That hurt. So I didn't love how that felt. And so what I started realizing is, although it was triggering to me and it was personal, like it was creating issues with me, it wasn't about me. It was about this little boy. So how do I solve that problem? What I started to do was I started to embrace it, and I understand it was going to come. So I understood that when he was going to feel upset, those things were going to be his tools to release his emotions, to express how he felt. So first, I had to recognize going into a lot of those moments that it was about to happen. These are the tools he's going to use, and that's not personal. And because I was able to do those things, it was less triggering for me because I wasn't caught off guard by it, which was really huge. Then I started like, okay, let's get to now that I'm co-regulated and I can support this boy, what I started to do was I started to make sure I filled up his emotional piggy bank. So he comes in the morning, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. I'm getting down to his level. I'm hugging. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that he knows that I love him. Because even though his behaviors were triggering to me and it did bother me, I still loved him. I never had a feeling like, oh, I hate that kid, or I don't like working with that kid. That never crossed my mind. But I can see why it would in my peers, right? But I tried never let it get into that point, okay? And so like, oh man, I love you, man. And so in some ways, I had to build in all the ways, I had to build a really great relationship with him. So that way, when he started to build up, like using those moments, I could then come to his level and be like, hey, you look mad. Jay, you look frustrated. In preschool, we used our calm bodies. We take a calm breath together. And then we try to solve our problems, okay? I wasn't waiting until he already exploded because it was gone. I had to catch it, but I had to be ready for it. And he had to know that I could be trusted, right? I and myself had to know that I wasn't going to get triggered, okay? And if I was able to do those things, this little boy could be really successful. So the beauty here is we have to understand that the children we teach are going to come in with a lot of trauma. And because they're coming in with a lot of trauma, we have to be able to co-regulate our feelings and remind ourselves that the outbursts that they're using are the tools that they've learned over their life. So in some ways we have to reteach, but before we can start reteaching, we have to accept what they're coming in with. These are their tools. And we have to understand that every child wants their best. Every family, for the most part, wants the best for their children. It's our roles to accept them, to be development appropriate to their emotional needs, and then match their level where they're at with the skills we know as teachers and the strategies we have to help these children and help all these children succeed. So what's cool about that is I know I'm gonna have a little boy, a little girl like Jay with behaviors come in the next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I know I'm gonna have another child like that because that's the community I live in, right? Or not, and trust me, it's not just my community. But what's cool is now I know I'm ready. I know in myself, my body, I can accept all of those feelings. I can accept all of his tools, and I know I'm ready to support him emotionally. So I've gone from taking it very personal when a child uses strong, challenging behaviors in that manner to now I'm ready for it. I'm ready to accept that. I am ready to move forward. I'm ready to help that child because I know we can give them the best possible education, right? So, anywho, just a little thought today how I went from taking things personal as a teacher to accepting a child's trauma and supporting them emotionally where they're at. So, good luck, reach out. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. I'd love to be a network and love to support you. Until next time.